Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you for tuning in. For this review, we're tackling the second studio album by indie rock, indie pop band The Beths. This one is titled Jump Rope Gazers. These guys are from New Zealand and they would have been exotic to me regardless of where they come from because I had never heard of this band before. So this is their second studio album, the follow-up to 2018's Future Me Hates Me. And as I understand in reading up on these guys, while preparing to do this review, it's my understanding they have tried as much as they could to shift away from whatever sound they had before. Again, they're an indie rock, alternative, indie pop band with little traces of power pop, at least from my perspective. They've tried to shift away from whatever they did before while still trying to stay true to themselves. They're known for their vocal harmonies, it's my understanding, and vocal layering and stuff like that, and that definitely shines throughout this record, so let's get right into it. So we start off with I'm Not Getting Excited. I love the way frontwoman Elizabeth Stokes can keep up with the pace. It's very up-tempo, and move her voice up and down the scales, using some graceful whistle, sort of, in some places, and maintaining a sweet-sounding presentation amidst somewhat melancholy writing. We're treated to some nice distorted riffs on the intro, and a really nice mid-track guitar solo from Jonathan Pierce. He's definitely a capable guitar player. We're treated to Elizabeth's clean and crystal clear vocal tone on Dying to Believe. I'm definitely a fan of the vocal layering. It's my understanding that, again, they are known for that amongst every member except the drummer. Speaking of which, Tristan Beck is the drummer. He's making his recorded debut with the band on this album, and on this track in particular, he shines. His drumming is much more clear and prominent on the chorus, and I replayed the chorus a few times because his drum fills were catchy AF. Jump Rope Gazers, the title track, clocks in at just over 5 minutes, but it's worth it. This is merely my takeaway, but on the heels of past international all-indie pop acts who have crossed over into some modicum of mainstream success here in the United States, a la Churches, Bell, and Sebastian, I think the Beths I truly think they're next in the line on that front. Elizabeth Stokes, again, shows a very clean and accessible tone with her singing voice, which, intended or not, I think will secure somewhat of a contemporary identity for the group going forward. It's still largely true to their own identity and niche, though the subtle forays into power pop-ish territory are welcome and well done. And when it's that well performed and well produced, it's hard to argue with the execution. Stay. My hopes are prone to elevate, Stokes sings in the pre-choruses, and that line in particular hit me like a ton of bricks, as she sings a graceful and inoffensive indie rock jam of finding synergy with someone else. Acrid, am I pronouncing that right? Would I be wrong to identify what I perceive as soft pop-punk undertones on this one? NME.com refers to another track we're going to talk about later, Out of Sight, as an emo revival. So perhaps there's a decently sized correlation between that assertion and the way some of these tracks play out. It doesn't explode with the kind of sugary, sweet pop-punk spank those vibrant and shimmery riffs on the intro might lead you to believe, but that's the farthest thing from a drawback here. The Beths are playing the percentages and working in their wheelhouse like seasoned virtuosos. The choruses rely on their penchant for vocal layering and pleasant, tightly wound harmonies, with, of course, the crooning Elizabeth Stokes up front. Do You Want Me Now? This one finds Elizabeth unsure if her muse can meet her level of commitment, and from her own words, the subsequent frustration that comes about. Your waiting room is hard on my esteem, she confesses. Then we get to Out of Sight, the emo revival we talked about. I was going to say that stylistically, this conjured up reminders of Brand New, but this band blows Brand New out of the water, so it also dabbles into shoegaze a little bit, almost like a slightly, and I mean slightly, retooled and stripped down version of, say, post-2017 100th, and they were a melodic hardcore band at one point, just minus the little extra electronic influence or glossy production that you might find with 100's new music. This is very rudimentary and organic by comparison. Don't Go Away. This is where the straight-up rock influence comes out completely, especially on the intro, and I was all for it. Liz referred to this one as a tantrum. She referred to this track as a tantrum, but it's not in the slightest. Liz sings of urging her friends to not move away because she'd missed them, and her intelligent chops as a playwright come to the forefront. Your stomach and I is always a discrepant size. I'll freeze with fright if you capsize, she sings. Mars, the God of War. Ooh, the guitars on this one. Damn, the rollicking energy on this track is so fun, and in that regard, we probably reach a plateau on this record. I just wish that it would stick around for a few more tracks or a few more seconds. It would just linger for a little bit. I'm not complaining that it doesn't. I'd say that's probably the only thing that I was kind of hoping for, but, you know, I'm not complaining. I'm very happy with the results of this album. I just wish that when those drums and guitars mix together and get a little more fiery, a little more upbeat, I kind of wish it would linger a little bit. But the band eventually sells into a groove a lot of times in this record, but again, not complaining. Anyway, I lost my place. The guitars, again, they faintly whine and shimmer as the chorus progresses, and again, it's definitely a treat for the ears. Then we get to You Are a Beam of Light, the more introspective and melancholic moments of this record come to a head in a pinnacle here. The band strips it down completely, offering merely acoustic guitars and ominous synths, as Liz calls out to a companion who has passed on by comparing their lingering presence to that of a lightning strike. The imagery makes this gut punch all too real and makes for one of the highlights among an album full of highlights. And then we close with Just Shy of Shore, the album closer, as I said. This is the band's self-proclaimed attempt at trying to end things on a high note. They said it was attempted optimism, not outrightly referring to it as overtly optimistic, saying that they were merely attempting to do so, but they largely succeed. The instrumental was fairly more upbeat than its predecessor, though considering how stripped down and melancholic the predecessor was, I'm not saying much. It's not like it was a difficult thing to accomplish. Anyway, the layered instrumentals and the way the production swells definitely conjure up a more optimistic vibe as we close the curtain, and Liz brings the good with her lyrics and with her voice, definitely. She sings, "My head is aching, but if I keep very still, I might be able to make this work," as she cautiously ponders. And that's the kind of note we end the album on. So overall, if you're into indie folk, indie pop, again, Church is more synth pop, but if you're into like Bell and Sebastian, I think you definitely love these guys. They're from New Zealand, as I said. It's definitely alternative rock with little tiny traces of shoegaze and power pop thrown in between. I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5. Definitely enjoyed this one. Definitely going to revisit it, and I urge y'all to do the same. Urge y'all to check this out. That's all I got to say. If you enjoyed this review, smack the like button. Leave a comment below. Subscribe. Hit the bell to get notified the next time I upload a new video. And until next time, take care of yourself.